for Robin Hood Men in Tights, and I haven't seen that movie in forever. So I feel like in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna have like a Mel Brooks movie thon.
All right, we are on the internet. Let's check um, stream quality and whatnot, and sound. Glorious sound.
My baby's on the level.
Oh, I've seen this video. Yep, I know exactly what this tech is referring to. Question, are we streaming yet?
Yeah, we're streaming right now.
Okay.
We are, and I think we sound pretty good.
Oh my god, why? Holy shit, Danny's in the chat. What time is it in Japan?
Danny!
Huh? You having trouble sleeping there, Danny?
Okay, it's 8:40 a.m. in Tokyo.
Still, I didn't figure someone would start the morning with us.
Oh my god.
Welcome.
Yeah.
For whatever it's worth.
We're now full up on viewers.
I was about to say, we're topped out, guys.
Oh, man.
Hot dog.
I know.
Well, now I gotta bring the A game.
Yeah. We have people to entertain. Shit.
I know.
I've got to perform.
Forget leisure.
For the only person that matters. I'm posting it on Twitter. I guess we can start talking, you guys. What do we want to do the chats about first? Is it Outriders? Are we going to do Outriders?
Yeah, let's start Outriders first, since we kind of cut that short right before we talked about it last podcast.
Yeah, it's a fun game. There are problems with it working, just like most times. There's ever a launch of any online game, they don't have the servers worked out.
But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's an improvement over prior game releases where the core game itself is not exactly the thing that's plagued with problems. It's the multiplayer sphere that's plagued with problems. Now, albeit this game leverages heavily on multiplayer, so one could argue that is a core piece of game that's not functioning right. But to my knowledge, you can sign in, you can play, and not crash out for the most part. So, as far as what I've seen,
I've put in about 15 hours worth of time into
a healthy
Outriders. I got like a level 17 Technomancer, and I can tell you that there are some connection problems even as a single player.
Oh, that's right. I forget. They actually did the campaign of this game different, where every aspect of the game connects to an online server.
Yes.
There's no offline mode.
There is no offline mode. And, yes, I remember this now. A couple people were miffed about this.
Yeah, to answer your question, does it have a single player mode? You can play it by yourself with your party closed. So you can play it alone, but that's not necessarily the same as single player.
Still requiring an online connection.
Yes, you must have an online connection. Which is the way of the world
kind of
nowadays.
Odd. I guess that's what they tried to embrace, but a piece of me still believes that most games probably should have a default non-online connected experience. I think that might just be my personal preference.
But how are they going to collect all of your data?
I know.
How are they going to have
that's
analytics to improve their performance?
that's where I would love to just send them a framed picture of my middle finger. I mean, that's
How,
really what it boils down to.
how are they going to watch you in your sleep at night?
Listen, you gotta be part of an ecosystem now, or it just doesn't work. Okay.
I just want to go close myself in a hole.
We need the numbers, because if we don't have the numbers, we don't know.
I know.
No, because if they don't have the
Exactly.
numbers, they can't run the ads they want to run.
Yeah, this is also true. Also, I will say this though: numbers tend to be more forgiving than the thousands of Twitter followers
This is a true statement.
Yeah.
who are shouting at your interns and or middle management or employees who are.
I'm pretty sure not even the
social media
janitor
sites.
escapes unscathed.
Yeah.
Like even the residual heat he still feels. He or she still feels.
I really want people to back off of like bad mouthing the people that work on video games.
It is toxic by itself. Like
Yeah.
excluding any of the occurrences that happen within a game that has issues, like everything in life, the absolute polarized, like go kill yourself types of comments and mentality of people just needs to disappear.
Yeah.
There's no reason to represent the worst of humanity because your video game doesn't work right.
I mean, that's the way of the internet. That anonymity makes it so that people don't have to filter what they say. And it also has to do with like a degree of separation. If you were face to face with somebody, there's no way you would talk to people in that tone.
That boils down to personal confrontation, which a lot of people can't handle. So I can see that being the case.
Yeah.
Also, you never know when you're going to catch these hands.
Yeah, truly, what keeps people at bay is, oh boy, don't want to catch hands. Hold up, people. Don't want to catch hands. But anyways, Outriders by itself, rocky launch, kind of to be expected. They are working on it, and so far, based on what we played in the initial, I guess you could call it beta, but is really
I think it's a demo.
The demo.
I think they're calling it a demo.
Okay, we'll call it a demo. So in the official demo, pretty much all the classes I played were extremely fun. There's only one I didn't, and it's the one that can use the blink ability with the blade. All the other ones I played. Yeah, I didn't play Trickster yet, but the other ones I played,
Trickster's
and
a lot of fun.
I like something about all the classes I played so far. So
there's a vast variety of how you can approach any scenario in this game with these classes that they give you. But what I'm going to tell you right now is there are quite a few things where you either need to grind for loot and levels or have friends. Because
I see.
You are not going to be able to, by yourself, put out enough DPS to keep everyone at bay. People will charge you, and you will not be able to kill them all by the time they are knocking down your
that
door.
kind of makes me want to not play the game until we're able to party up. Because I feel like you don't quite have as good of an experience by yourself, if that's the case.
And it sounds like they actually listened to player feedback and tweak some of the those engagements, at least your initial engagements, and I'm assuming as you continue outside of what they had in the demo, they've tweaked them too, make them a little bit more challenging for groups, which crossed over into single player as well.
Yeah. From my experience playing the demo and then playing the real thing, I know that they notched up the difficulty a little bit. Things that I breezed through in the demo were much more difficult playing the real game. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It made me forcibly change which class I wanted to play, because at first I was playing Pyromancer, and that character,
that's why you said it wasn't working out,
is very hard to play single player. You can't absorb enough damage and also pull off your skills quickly enough to stay in the game at the speed you need to be. Technomancer is a little bit easier because no matter
all that damage,
as long as you're doing damage, you're healing yourself, which is great. Have y'all put
Oh,
in any time with Outriders yet?
No, busy this weekend, and technically it took 7 hours to download with my poor internet. So,
Aw, mountain internet.
yeah, didn't get to really play Friday because I was busy. Saturday socializing, and today partly socializing. But I'm gonna play it this evening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had a chance to really play it yet.
It's a lot of fun.
And
Plus, I figured the first couple hours of launch, they're always patching and bug fixing, so I wasn't really bent out of shape that I wasn't one of the first humans to log into the server.
Yeah, no, it's not that kind of
because you
game
probably
either.
wouldn't have got in.
Yeah, probably,
True,
probably
true.
right there. Truth be it.
I actually haven't downloaded it yet.
You haven't even downloaded? What?
No, well, so there's a couple things happening right now. First of all, when they announced that cross platform wasn't working right now, it was kind of like me saying, well, I got this game to play with 3 people. I'm not necessarily interested in playing it solo.
Oh, I see. I
Um,
see.
Full disclosure for those listening, 2 of us are PC, 1 of us is PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which leads us into
For
an
this
adjacent topic.
Mhm. The
Slide
other
on
thing
it.
is, I needed to get through the rest of my Genshin Impact quests
Oh,
before the
God.
new
How
Before the
dare
new-
It's like a
before the
job.
new
Vance.
banner.
How do you enjoy that? It's a job.
You mean the
because I
addiction?
need the Primo Gems to get the next character.
No, you
Ah,
I don't
yes,
want
the
to
voice
give
of
this
addiction.
game money. I don't want to give the game that much more money. So
Ugh.
actually, this is dovetailing before we dovetail somewhere else. I really like this patch's initial event, which was the not the Ludi Hearthstone, the Windbloom event, which was a festival in Mondstadt, the world where you start at. They had a bunch of mini games that you could play with your friends. They had gliding events, bow and arrow events. They put in a rhythm game with your lyre, which was freaking hard on console. Freaking hard on console. And then they had one other event that I can't think of right now. And then a whole bunch of different story quests. But the thing I liked about the story quests is that it allowed you to interact with the characters from the game, but also people around town and expanding those characters' narratives, which I find really interesting. Like, you meet this one character, she's at the bottom base of this new mountain that they put in the game in patch 1.2. You meet her the first time, you don't really do anything with her. And then with this event, they bring her back, and you can tell that they have an expanding narrative with her character and another character in the city.
Jeez.
And so that's part of the thing that's really intriguing to me. Like, how are they going to continue, one, allowing you to interact with the characters with like the main overall like story quests and the actual player characters, and then how you interact with NPCs and how that expands. Like, there's another character that I interacted with, and I just found out today that she might be one of the enemy factions. And I've been playing this game for like 6 months.
Dun,
So-
dun, dun.
It's happening, guys. It's just really interesting to me. So yes, that's what I was doing this weekend. Also, I got everything that I wanted out of the store, and now I'm ready for Outriders.
Okay.
But you gotta download it first.
Fair.
Yeah, I gotta download it first.
All things considered, it's not the biggest game in the world. I think it's like 40 gigs, which in these days and times is kind of on the small
Modest.
side.
Yeah, it's
modest.
on the small side.
Yeah.
We can't like compare it to COD. That's overbloated. Don't use that as a measure.
Yeah, but even like Final Fantasy Remake was what, 85
Yeah, something like
gigs
that.
maybe?
Final Fantasies have always been ginormous games, though. That's always been a thing. So that's normal
Yeah.
for a Final Fantasy game.
Final Fantasy X was the first game that I ever saw that came on 2 discs. I mean, more of them did that beforehand, but I was
And that's
like,
pre-Blu-ray days.
I was like 9 when
Yeah.
it came out, and I looked at it and I was like, it came on 2 discs. This game's huge.
I think that like going back to even the PS1, I want to say like shoot, I think Final Fantasy 7 was on multiple discs.
Mhm.
There's a game, I see the characters, but I can't remember the name of the game. Like Dragon Guard?
Drakengard?
Maybe?
You got me.
No, that's not it though. It's like it's a game that predates that.
Oh.
But you were all like half dragons, and it was like a timing based combat system. And there was like a guy with a spear. I think his name was Alfred. There's a main player character who was like fire based, and then there's a female character, and you had to like tap in time to the like rhythm to do your attacks. It's actually pretty interesting. That one had two discs maybe, and I want to say Xenogears also had multiple discs. But I was pretty young then, so I don't remember. But yeah,
Danny,
but most importantly, those were Square games. All Square games had like multiple discs.
Danny's telling us that Last of Us Part 2 comes on 2 discs.
Oh,
does it?
I didn't know it was that big. Like
that's super big because that's still in the Blu-ray realm. So that's 2 Blu-rays if that's the case.
That's quite a lot.
Jeez,
that's
a lot of space.
It's 2 discs to pack in all that trauma.
Yeah. And poor ending.
Do we want to move on from a game that had a good start to a game that had a bad start?
Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
With CD Projekt Red and their latest patch for 1.2.
CD Projekt Wrecked is what it should sound like.
Ouch. Ouch.
So they are mentioning that it might be coming back to the PlayStation Store, but that is only a kind of an offhanded statement by one of their representatives.
Yeah, sort of an unfounded rumor with no date. It's one of those nebulous terms. Hey, it's probably coming soon, and we're kind of like eye roll. Okay, yeah, believe it when I see it.
Mikhail Nowakowski said it. We have pushed several patches. And we have just, done a really big one yesterday, and we hope that it's coming back to the PlayStation Store soon, because that's a lot of money.
But I did read from one of the people that experienced the new patch that one of the main quests that you have to travel to a destination to meet somebody was actually still bugged. Now, he was playing the PC version of it, and he alleged that another friend of his that played the console version, it did not have this issue. There are still game stopping issues that are kind of cropping up,
absolutely.
That's probably why it's still not in the store yet.
I mean, 1.2 was not supposed to fix everything. You can't fix everything with one patch. Although they did have, I think, a total of 484 tweaks to the game to make it better.
Significant changes.
A lot of it had to do with
some hard work.
With like car
they
drivability.
Were meaty changes.
And cops
NPC
spawning.
Actions.
Yeah. The cops are pieces of shit in that game, and they like, you get in trouble for like mowing down a civilian with your motorcycle because sometimes you just can't help it, and going down the sidewalk is faster than being stuck in traffic in the middle of town. And you get in trouble.
The coppers. Blue!
And the cops are not like out in the world or anything like that. They just like poof spawn next to you and shoot at you.
God,
that was
I did see that it's easy to get away from them.
Yeah, it is. You just have to leave.
You just go behind a corner out of line of sight and they give up.
Yeah.
Well, 2 points on that. Well, 2 things real quick. One, Danny, the Cyberpunk was pulled out of the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
Pretty soon after launch, and when so many people were like, there was a run to have the game refunded after, especially for people who had it on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
And
Sony
then
does not like to give money back. They were fuming.
And the fact they did it willingly without like fighting about it was eye-opening. They should feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's the embarrassing part. The fact that Sony did that unequivocally, unflinching. Yep, we'll give you your money back. And everyone's like, wait, what? W-A-T, what?
And the other thing is, I saw Angry Joe's his review of Cyberpunk, and he also touched on the topic pre-patch 1.2, and he showed some video footage where he assassinated somebody inside of a bedroom. And the cops just spawned in the bedroom and started shooting him.
That is one of the most egregious cases of officers, where basically the gun was floating and pointing out of the wall and shooting him, and he couldn't kill the officer behind the wall. And that room became like a no-go zone because
it was like a kill
the
box.
officer was stuck in the wall, but he couldn't get out of the wall, and he couldn't shoot him through the wall. So he had to just like abandon all hope of doing anything in that room.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
things like that happen.
God, that's ridiculous.
All things
Ridiculous.
considered, it's a good game. It needs some serious work.
I mean, if I ever get to play it, I'd like to play it.
I know.
But until it passes the PlayStation muster, I can't even play it.
No, just go ahead and wait for the definitive edition that's going to be released in like 2
Cyberpunk
years.
2077 Game of the Year edition.
Edition released in 2072.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh,
That's good.
My goodness.
That kind of
Well-
leads us to another game that kind of took a while to get up and running, but the Dynami was there in the beginning. Like,
You talking about
so
the sky
many
with no
games.
man in it?
yeah, like so many places we've gone for you, the listener, and we go back in to report back to you,
Let me see.
the single listener.
No Man's Sky. So we just posted a YouTube link, and I'm a little gun shy on showing video right now. What with the copyright claim on our latest podcast.
But that one was a music video related. This is game related, so I would think it's probably fine.
I'm still not doing it.
It's fine.
No Man's Sky has a patch, or well, not patch. It was an update, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an edition drop.
A new drop to it.
Yeah, it's like a co-op adventure or something like that. You and a
Yeah.
friend can start on the same planet, and
No Man's Sky Expeditions.
yeah, that's the way
It's
it
a
should have
whole-
been.
Well, like we just
that's
mentioned,
what they
it is the
promised.
game they promised way back when. It is now. So it only took them how many years? Let me double check here.
Oh,
Let's see
this
here.
I can pull this straight off of No Man's Sky
And
itself. Oh. Expedition. I'm not watching.
But it's update-
it was
It's
July
update
of
3.3.
2018.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
PlayStation
So-
4, Microsoft in August of 2016. Only took them 5 years.
So yeah, with their big patch, and we have gone back and talked about No Man's Sky several times on this because we were there in the beginning.
Yep.
I feel like we
Very
played the beta and then
when
played
it
the
started.
and then we played the actual game at launch. But Expeditions is a new mode where you start with your friends. I guess you can travel together.
Indeed.
They have input more, or they've added new challenges and
New ships,
I guess
new
some
vehicles, new
missions
weapons,
as
new
well.
skins,
new rewards.
all kinds. It has finally
And the game
become the
looks
No Man's
nice.
Sky it was supposed to
It
be.
does.
A cooperative experience to explore space.
Cooperative experience. All right, I am gonna have to make my Sean Murray comment right now about Hello Games and Sean Murray. Are you ready?
Do it.
Hit it.
I feel sorry for Sean Murray and Hello Games in general because they were so destroyed when this game came out, and you could tell
Very.
that Sean Murray was so happy to be working on a title that so many people took an interest in, and I know how it is to talk about a project that you are very, very interested in and invested in and excited about. And I even understand how it is to like oversell your game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or even your idea.
after his like the opening and like the absolute massacre of like what happened to all those people and him just returning back in whatever shape he was into somewhat of a spotlight in interviews and stuff like that, you can just see that he's like the twinkle in his eye is gone. about it
Well,
all.
he had to basically recluse to save himself and some of the
Yeah.
team from all of the vitriol, if you will,
And
which it's kind of
very
expected given the way things were released and what they talked about leading up to it. So,
it's very sad. I wish he uh set realistic expectations for the community.
yeah.
But as it
That,
stands, I mean, we can't go back and change the past.
nope. Hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so here's my rebuttal. I totally appreciate your point of view and appreciate what he and the team must have gone through since launch, from going to,
Quite.
to having record-breaking numbers to having really fairly low, middling to low, and like backlash hits. To say that this game is now 5 years old,
Yeah.
it's still
Just
going.
about.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so much better, and I'm sure they are not in the red. I
Yeah.
think that Games and Sean Murray are one of the luckier gaming studios
Probably.
because they were able to bounce back and make good on the promise of the game that they envisioned.
Uh-huh.
Because we've seen some studios not do that. Storied non-indie studio or indie studios and like storied AAA studios who were not able to do that. And I'm thinking
Well,
about right now Disintegration.
I would still think
Ooh,
Um,
that
yeah. Sad
that
days.
certain game that we used to not name Destiny, once Bungie broke back away from Activision, they did start to make some pretty positive changes to the view of the game that they wanted it to be, but I won't call it or compare it to the same level of redemption that Hello Games has gone through.
I'd
Yeah.
have to play that game, and I don't know if I could, but I would have to play that game to agree with you.
I
I
played
could say maybe, but
I,
I'd have to play.
I played Destiny 2 to test out my PC specs because it was free. And the opening sequence is you waking up in that junkyard just like Destiny 1. So, I
But part
mean,
of Destiny 2 is while they were still with Activision. During Destiny 2 is when they went through the breakup.
but it's
So
the
it would
exact same intro as the first game. The exact same.
well, that's what I'm getting at. It's not as much of a redemption because that only kind of started happening after the company split up, where most of that freedom of change started getting updated in the DLCs and after game
You
to
didn't have
Destiny
to
2.
start Destiny 2 the same way you start Destiny 1. That's all I'm saying. Been there, done that, try new flavor.
Maybe we should put that on a list of try together again.
Destiny 2?
I like I said, I am gun shy. I don't know if I could. I did play the beta for Destiny 2, and that was a long, long time ago. And
Yeah.
That's a long
again,
time
I
ago.
still remember. Well, I just remember coming back to you guys because Scorch, you didn't play it, but Arcadis and I did. And I remember coming back and saying, hey, the gunplay still feels great. It still feels like Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Truth.
You know, you know what the world has less of right now? It has more Destiny, but it has less of cheaters.
Ooh, nice segue.
Thank you.
Just by a
thank
little
you.
bit.
Yeah,
little bit.
it felt choppy to me, but I'll work on my segues. China has fucked up some cheaters. I don't know how else to put it.
And Tencent. Tencent and the Chinese authorities in collaboration.
Yeah. Most of the cheating was based around Overwatch and Call of Duty Mobile.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So this is an article from Polygon, and they said that local authorities stated that the group called Chicken Drumstick sold cheats to hundreds of countries and regions through a website. Police reportedly seized 46 million in assets, including luxury cars, and arrested 10 people in connection with the ring.
And reportedly subscriptions costing as much as $10 per day up to $200 a month for revenues of 76 million US dollars.
That's
a lot. It's a lot of dough. I should say that's a lot of cheat.
that is quite a lot of cheat.
That's quite a heavy amount of cheat that is no longer existing. Good on you. Good on you, Tencent.
I mean,
It's just one of those things. Well, I mean, cheating breaks social contracts. You're paying a lot of money for, I guess, validation or esteem through no skill of your own. I just don't understand that. I just really don't.
It seems like Danny is absolutely livid right now with this news.
Is the chat blowing up?
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. I'm with you, Danny. Who pays to cheat? Well, apparently these people, and they and Chicken Drumstick raked in a whole bunch of money for people who wanted to get on leaderboards or to play with the big time streamers or whatever that they needed to do to accomplish the cheat. I just don't get it.
Well,
look, vanity is a hell of a motivator.
I mean,
even
if
if
you
it's
don't
in a
have
digital
as
space.
delicate or as stubborn of an ego as some of these people, it's going to be hard to comprehend.
Yeah. And if you got if you got money to accentuate your vanity, there we go. Not manatee.
Yep.
I mean, it could be vanity.
Then,
Yeah, I doubt the sea cows are cheating.
Yeah. You're more likely to, fork over that quiche so that you can make yourself look good without putting in the actual effort to be good, which has been a problem since the dawn of time. Let's not sugarcoat this. This is an ingrained, intrinsic value of humanity. Is people like to cheat.
Since that first insufferable dude that cheated at Pong.
Yeah.
The dawn of cheats.
Ugh. Son of a
Funny
bitch.
Stuff.
Y'all want to talk about a PS5 Slim? I think we did the cheaty thing.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Slim
because
all right.
there are thousands upon millions of people who don't have a PS5 proper. But let's talk about these PS Slim rumors.
Yeah, it's rumored to be coming out in 2023. Mostly because of a change up in chipsets, and that usually signals the companies, and I'm talking about Sony in particular, moving on to making a different console. And
well, part of that's going to be driven by the global chip shortage as well. So although that is typical of a changeover in console architecture, the global chip shortage that's currently being experienced is probably an additional driver on top of that.
I think that there's a shortage of everything right now.
True, but chips was the latest big thing.
Yeah. Frickin'
so much so.
Ever given Suez Canal thing didn't help.
No, probably made it worse. But the chip shortage is so bad that the automaker GM shut down their truck and SUV line, I believe, for 1 full week because they could not obtain enough chips to produce vehicles, which in the automotive world is tremendous.
Yeah.
So put that in perspective.
There's a lot of shortages as far as like computer hardware is going. Like semiconductors are hella short in supply right now.
Yeah.
Chipsets are down.
But I almost wouldn't even hold my breath for 2023 because Friggin' people don't even have the original PS5 right now, let alone talking about a Slim. This is almost salt in the wounds for people who have been trying to get a PS5. I'm not one of those people who have been trying to get a PS5 really hard. And here they have, oh yeah, we're just going to move on to PS5 Slim. And everyone's like, hey, wait, what about
Hey,
me? I
what about me?
I want basic. I want the bottom tier. I want entry level, please. And they can't even get it yet.
Yeah.
So it's almost like salt in the wounds of everyone who can't get one
Well,
yet.
that shortage is being driven by a couple of factors, and one of them
Oh yeah.
is a shortage in chipsets and semiconductors. Another one is that here in the illustrious pandemic land where retail is driven digitally completely right now,
Yes.
there's a whole bunch of problem with bots buying every single
Friggin'
unit
bots.
before
God,
people even
can we
have
jail
access
those
to a page.
people already? Oh my god.
Get on it, Tencent. Let's do it.
I know. Stop
Jeez,
the bots.
Oh my
2021.
gosh. Stop all the bots.
Uh,
Those friggin' bots.
in bot software that was originally created to buy up the latest sneaker when it came out
Yes.
is now being used to buy up every single PS5 in existence. Except for that one that your friend got, Vast.
Yeah, that magical lottery one.
And it's a real friend. And I play with him a couple times a week, and he doesn't
Just
lord it over
ridiculous.
me, but I hear his son asking when they're going to get a new console, and he's like, "We already got one." So,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you know what though?
Huh.
There's another rumored new console that no one's going to be able to have.
Really?
Mm.
Do tell.
Yes.
While I
It's
swim
called-
my cursor up to this tab where I have it.
Well, there's a company that has been near and dear to my heart for several years, and it's called Nintendo. And there have been rumors since the Switch launched that there's going to be a Switch 2, a mid-tier, not mid-tier, but mid-cycle upgrade to the Switch, and we've been waiting for it for a couple of years, and then recently Bloomberg announced that it's more than likely going to happen within the next year. Chip shortage, of course,
Notwithstanding, yeah.
notwithstanding. But Switch 2,
Yeah.
it's here. People are talking about it a lot. It's going to be
Might
bigger.
actually be time for me to get a Switch now.
Let
It'll
I'll
be
just
better.
buy it on this wave.
Let me first start this conversation about the new Switch by telling Bloomberg, clean up your site because Jesus, this looks awful.
I mean, they're Bloomberg. They don't have to care about anything.
It's gross. You guys, this is awful looking. Anyway,
I mean,
Switch
they might
Pro.
have gotten the intern to build it, so don't knock him too hard.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, the display is alleged to be ever so slightly bigger, OLED, slightly higher resolution, slightly more processing capacity, and with all of that, a slightly bigger battery, but probably not by too much. And instead of compensating by making it super big to have a bigger battery for equivalent life, they're going to have settings on it so that way you could actually preset it while you're mobile to the older generation of Switch and still get an equivalent or longer battery life out of it.
Mm-hmm. And this one
Which
is
is pretty
rumored
fair.
to also support 4K on televisions, which is
Oof.
will bring it up to, I'm going to say, the standard now is 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the truth, but it's where I would like to sit, as a standard.
I don't have 4K yet, but I will eventually. Getting there. Slowly
Yeah.
but surely.
Well, there's other couple of things that kind of indicate that this is in the works. Not just in the works, but going to probably lead to a little bit more changes than we're talking about here. One is their partnership with Samsung, of course. The other is the fact that there have been rumors of Nintendo and Nvidia partnering, um, or their partnership expanding. And we entered the speculation zone a little bit about that. And then the other thing is Nintendo releasing Nintendo Online. I think it was last year. So increasing their online offerings, stability, whatever. I'm running out of words here.
Yeah.
Um, to show that not only is Nintendo coming for the family friendly platform that is holding its own against the more powerful consoles, they're trying to up their game a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Switch 2 actually lets you stream from the console. I know. I know. We're
we're asking
speculating
big
here.
things.
So okay,
But-
here's another speculation zone. I'll hold it until after your point though, Vast.
No, that was it. That was it. Just that's what I'm saying. That there might be more to this than just a little bit more power, a better screen, a longer battery life.
So
We could see some more changes like that.
So it would make sense that this tip-off works from the direction of if you've been paying attention to Nvidia with their handheld stuff. This is a very definitely speculation zone, but
Yes.
so Nvidia had a product through the 2010s that they shuttered, I think, a couple of years ago. Maybe. It was recent. By a couple of years. Yeah, that's recent. 2020 was like 3 years together. But they had this product called the Nvidia Shield, and it worked almost exactly like a Nintendo Switch. But it had less than stellar sales and was like it kicked to the curb almost as soon as it came out because of like certain setbacks with the amount of games that were developed for it. It just never had the traction in the market. But I imagine that Nvidia learned quite a lot in how to do architecture for a very small platform, and Nintendo saw what they were doing and noticed that their product was not selling well, and were like, hey, we'll offer you a whole bunch of money to like make one for us. And I think that's what this is. What do y'all think?
I would agree with that. Yeah, lots of companies, big and small, learn all kinds of different experiences on a variety of different projects, regardless of size. So, if they're a smart company and learning from mistakes and all new experiences, then yeah, I could absolutely see them being able to do that.
Yeah.
What a wise company does.
Well, Nintendo has been around forever. And you know,
True. That doesn't mean everybody in that company is necessarily on top of it.
You don't stay around forever and not make smart moves. You know what I mean?
But there also is another angle of like constantly being conservative just to the point of sticking around and maintaining relevancy, but not necessarily excelling in a lot of different areas is another avenue you can take that.
Well, you know, one of the things that makes Nintendo successful is that they don't listen to anybody other than Nintendo.
Correct. Again, a very conservative view of how they run the company and make decisions, which
and it's cool.
has benefited them.
Yeah, it's cool, except for things like when they have just recently pulled a whole bunch of Mario games off of their store. They just removed it from the library, like a lot, quite a few titles, I believe. But
Did they say why?
I think they were just like sunsetting the titles out of their library, which seems odd to me because people that buy into Nintendo buy into Nintendo and they want everything.
And they play everything all the time.
Yeah.
That seems odd.
And where did Vast go?
Unless
Unless
it's a
I'm
very
here.
okay.
I'm here.
clever market thing to take it off for a while and then reintroduce it
Oh man,
for
like
more
new
money later.
Coke,
Yeah, like new Coke.
Nintendo.
They just reintroduce it with a few little tweaks to it, and they go, "It's brand new, remastered." And then there you go. You just recaptured a whole new audience in addition to the old audience.
I would go one step further in saying that that's probably going to be like one of those test cases for whatever evolving online platform that they'll introduce with the next Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Maybe.
that's big speculation. That's big speculation. But
Mm.
I could already see them saying, "Okay, we have this game. It's already online.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this, and this with it. Let's take it down. This is going to be our use case, our whatever uh, QA lingo, appropriate QA jargon here
Corporate,
for
corporate,
this
corporate,
this thing.
corporate.
I was going to take a step back though and say that I agree with your statement about the conservative nature of Nintendo and making changes to stay relevant. At on the other hand, there aren't very many companies that's been around since before the turn of the century, right?
True.
And Nintendo, Wii U aside, Nintendo's been selling like gangbusters
Yeah.
for the past 15 years, almost 20 years. When did the Wii come out? I don't even know anymore.
A while.
Let's say 10 to 15 years, right?
I'll look it up here.
And part of that is
Innovation.
not listening is innovation. They are the first people or the first, and then you can see that with the original Nintendo where they had like the gamepad
So
and they
you
had
said
the glove.
Wii or the Switch?
The Wii.
The
Jay
Wii.
mentioned. Okay, the Wii launched November 19th, 2006.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, a while.
We old, you guys.
Shit.
I'm so
Don't worry,
old.
Vast. Only 4 Olympics worth.
Olympic years make everything better. No, but seriously, but Nintendo has always been innovative in like not only introducing their original console, but that original console had what? It had the gun, it had the pad, the track
The little
pad
steering
for,
wheel.
it had the steering wheel, it had the glove, it had like the first VR, and it was way ahead of its time, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
But it was still the first console to do that. Then when you move over to the Switch and the Wii, and how innovative it was just to have the motion controls in the wand.
Yeah,
Like that was really innovative. And every product, I'm such a Nintendo fangirl, and I don't care. But when it comes to their IPs, you can talk about their really rigid specifications when they work with third parties, but it's because they have such demands for quality products that, like, because that's part of their reputation. You don't see a Destiny happening on Nintendo, right?
It's true.
You just don't.
There are only like 4 active franchises on Nintendo.
But every one of them has been ready to play at launch.
Yeah, that's true.
Ready to go.
That's
Nintendo would never stake their reputation on a game that did not function on launch. That's to them, that is like unspeakable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their culture. It goes against everything that they try to do.
Their
could
lineup is solid as a rock, and it's always going to be solid as a rock. If that's what you want, go for it. But just know, you're not gonna have an incredible breadth of titles until the Switch. I mean, they're branching out on Switch, but
They are branching out on Switch.
They at least
it's
ported
really
over
nice.
Doom. Yeah.
And other games. And
And
other games are
Borderlands.
coming to the Switch. I mean, so yeah, there's just a lot. There's just a lot there, and I think my final Nintendo fangirl moment will say that um, I want a Switch 2, and I'm going to get a Switch 2.
Really?
Hmm
Dang.
I don't
If I can
use
stream on it, hell yeah.
I don't use my Switch enough for me to justify buying another one. So
I'm just glad I waited to buy so that way I can just get this version. One and done.
I'll tell you the next game I'm going to play on the Switch when I finally get one. I just saw the trailer earlier today. It's called Later Gator. Later Gator.
Later
It's
Gator?
probably one of those titles that's already on PC. Maybe I haven't looked it up. I just watched it before we started streaming, but I highly recommend you watch the trailer. It looks great, and I will agree with Danny, who says that's what she loves about Nintendo, and also wishing me good luck to fight those bots.
yeah, that's true. It's very true.
Well, I'll say that with my friend Tailswapper, I will actually sign up, or maybe I'll have him sign up for the Switch 2 for me because his luck is amazing.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Just keep rolling on that.
hmm
Reimburse him.
Oh man. So
That's funny.
were quite a few trailers that dropped over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of them have to do with Square Enix, which is I thought where you were going with this fast, but there was
We'll take it there anyways.
Yeah, there was a Square Enix event where they announced a whole bunch of crap, and nobody cares about anything other than Forspoken, or at least me.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's some interesting news that came out of the Square event. It happened back in March, and I think we talked about it together, but we didn't actually, talk about it for the show. But they are remastering Life is Strange, the first two Life is Strange games, which have a really big cult following. I don't even think it's a cult following. I think it's really popular, but it's a certain kind of player who enjoys them.
Yeah. People who like Life is Strange really like Life is Strange.
Yes.
And more power to them. There aren't any other games that do it like that, but you gotta want it.
And you gotta want it. And I will say this about Life is Strange series, like it's very unique. Like there hasn't been that many games like it, and no one does it as well. In my opinion, from what I've seen, no one does it as well.
Yeah. That's true.
But they also announced Life is Strange True Colors. That's coming September this year.
September 10th?
September 10th. They talked about Outriders, which we touched at the beginning of this podcast. They showed something called Balan Wonderworld, which looks incredible, but also really weird. I'm not going to try it.
So, there's a little bit... So, Balan Wonderland already came out, I think.
Okay. Yes, it did. It launched on March 26th.
Yeah, launching on March 26th. So from what I hear, the game has, bright, shiny colors, but actually is not that good. And also, has also stepped in some pretty hot water for color sequencing that has induced seizures again.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Great.
So, people are kicking around this problem more, which is not good, you guys.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
More QA testing.
I think they've since patched it out, but people were also kind of angry at the nomenclature that they used around it. I'm just glad that they patched it out so they don't hurt anybody. But they referred to it as a bug instead of actual implementation, which I'm not
actually
sure
makes it sound less severe.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all of that, but I am happy that it is out of the game. They also announced some Marvel Avengers stuff, like Black
reminding
Panther
us that
and Hawkeye.
the game is still here.
Yeah.
But they did bring in Black. I think they have already brought in. Well, they brought in Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Uh-huh.
They're bringing in Black Panther, and I think eventually or soon they should be releasing Hawkeye, Clinton Barton Hawkeye. So there's that.
Marvel Avengers is, if it has a long enough tail, which I really don't know if it does or not, but it's supposed to end up as a game where you can play any Marvel character, right? Like, that's the deal. That's how they set this up.
That's what they're gearing up for, and not only that, but they're using it as a launch pad for other characters that are relevant in the Marvel comic universe that are also about to be seen in the MCU. So
they're doing
like
some
Miss Marvel,
cross media stuff.
some cross media stuff. So Miss Marvel is going to have her own film or television series. I don't remember which one. And she's the main character in this that you start with in the story mode of the Avengers. And her name is Kamala Khan, and she's such a cutie. She's such a good character. Kate Bishop is, I think, one of the I'm not a Marvel, like 100% Marvel person. So if anyone hears this and I get all of this wrong, know that I am more solidly DC than Marvel. Okay, and these kids ain't X-Men, so I don't really know what's going on.
Look, like, these comic boys are gonna come after you. There's some of the most venomous people out there on the internet.
I know, and I don't want to show my cards, but I will take pictures of my comp. No,
that are all labeled DC on the back.
Yes, but Kate Bishop, she was part of the Young Avengers, and she's going to have her own television show, or she's going to be part of the Hawkeye show, which will feature Clinton Barton Hawkeye and her Hawkeye. And there was a run of comics which featured both of them that was pretty well critically acclaimed, or were hold on, let me rephrase that sentence, that were critically acclaimed, and I think that show is going to be based off of that run. And I think they're also going to, there's rumors that they're going to introduce an X-Men or two.
Well, now that Disney
or
owns
they
the whole
were
world, they can.
Now that they can, but of course this was like rumors in the long ago, before the game failed to deliver on the multiplayer aspect.
I think the game failed to deliver on game.
I will say
I played the demo, and I can say that I could agree with that notion.
The story mode was surprisingly, for me, who has no skin in this game, was surprisingly well executed overall. But I will agree with you, the actual things that you were asked to do and in the multiplayer part were just wasn't all that fun to me.
They're not good.
Not at all. Not at all.
But anyway, do we want to talk about Forspoken for a little bit?
Yeah, because that's the thing that we really care about.
Yeah. So they have a trailer on YouTube, and it looks beautiful. If you want to watch it, you can go ahead and watch it. And they even had the real-life actor that is the likeness and voice of the main character, with a little, like, sit-down interview snippets that they, what is the word, stitched in between? I guess that's the correct term. I don't know a whole lot about this game, just like anybody else does not know a whole lot about this game. What I know is that there are Corinthian columns and a dragon. That's
A lot of clouds.
about it.
A lot of
Some
clouds
spark
and a really
effect.
cool movement system that had me interested.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about freedom of movement in game.
Yes, yes. They haven't
There is
said-
one other thing
yeah,
that we learned about
2022.
it. They talked about when it's going to launch. At least they gave a year, and then from just watching the trailer, this is going to be a minor spoiler if you don't watch the trailer, but it sounds like is it called a isekai? Is that the right word?
Transported to another world? An isekai?
That's what it sounds like. Yes.
Okay, I suppose. I mean,
Maybe.
I've digested enough isekai anime to last a lifetime. But if they can do it in a video
Now you can play it in a
I'll be
video
okay.
game.
As long as it starts with the main character getting hit by a truck, just like
Or a train, or some other large object that weighs several tons that cannot be avoided. Its weight must be measured in tons, otherwise you can't even talk about it.
Oh, well, it looks like Danny is sold because there are dragons in the game. I don't blame
And
her.
the dragons look super cool.
They do look
Very
really cool.
detailed. I say they look very not just like haphazard. Okay, here's lizard horns and some wings. Like, nah, somebody spent a significant amount of time detailing those guys out.
Yeah.
Well done.
Can I say something though?
Huh.
The creature design for Forspoken reminds me of the first time I saw like the liquid black creatures in what is the name of that game? Kojima's game, Death Stranding.
Oh.
And remember what I said? Those
BTs?
creatures look. Yes, and I was like, those creatures look straight out of something from a Final Fantasy game. Do you remember me saying that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't look the same, but their design reminds me of that.
Quick aside, while we're brushing up against it, Kojima has stated that he's working on a new game. I don't know if it's Death Stranding related, if that was a one-off, or, it's going to be a sequel. He hasn't said anything, and he is a very cryptic, very enigmatic person. So I doubt
for good reasons.
I doubt that we will be seeing a whole lot of what he's working on outside of the inevitable, incredibly packed lasagna of an ARG that he's gonna like.
So what I find
put out.
most incredible is the fact that he handpicks and surrounds himself with the correct people that can develop amazing games like this and not leak an iota of anything.
It's so weird.
I don't know what kind of blackmail he has on the people he works with.
Loyalty.
But he does, yeah. And if it's not blackmail, it is a loyalty unseen anywhere else in the gaming industry, where he can just be like, he can do just that. I'm working on something, and then say nothing for years, and then all of a sudden come back out on stage and go, here's a small presentation for you. And it's just like boom, bang, pow, Kojima trailer, and everyone's like, what the literal heck? And then he's like, oh, by the way, it's releasing on X date. And that's it.
Yeah.
He's done it again.
That's what he does. I feel like part of the hiring process is him like walking into a completely white room with the person that he has just hired. With like an interrogation style, there's like a white desk that he sits down at with a pistol, and he's like, you tell anybody about this and I'll kill your entire family. Welcome aboard!
Also, he has a polygraph machine in the corner.
Oh yeah, he absolutely does. Either that or he is the polygraph machine. Like,
he just holds their wrist and stares them in the eye and asks the questions. And then he like raises an eyebrow and goes, oh, that was unsettling. Our interview is over. You have a nice day.
goodbye.
So I guess
and then he poofs into smoke.
So Danny says that maybe the key ingredient is respect.
Yeah.
To which
I would
also
definitely
agree.
say that's what it is.
I would agree. So this brings me. I'm going to toss this into the speculation zone really, really quick.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, what psychological thriller is popular right now so we can guess which actors are going to appear in his next work.
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
With Kojima, it could be anything. It could be current events or it could be abstract. You just don't know.
I know who it's gonna be. I know
Emilia Clarke.
I know who it's gonna be. It's gonna be Timothy Chalamet.
Oh Jesus. Okay. I can't top that. I can't top that.
Oh man.
Watch it be Timothy Chalamet.
Listen, that was a complete shot in the dark. I have no idea, but it feels right. You know what I mean?
It feels right. No, it does. It does. That feels good. What about you, Arcadius? I said mine, Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke is a good shot.
Maybe, but I really don't know. I don't keep up enough with some of the current event stuff to even hazard a guess.
Okay. All right.
Especially when it comes to like movie related culture things.
He loves to put celebrities in his stuff.
He does. Really does.
Because there's good instant recognition for the game when he does that, so there is a benefit to doing that.
Yeah.
And we do know that we mentioned this last time. We know who the actor is who will portray Solid Snake.
We do?
And we do. And I see his face, and Oscar Isaacs.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of cameos, have you seen the Space Jam 2 trailer?
Oh God. I couldn't bring myself to watch it, so no, I haven't watched it yet.
I have not yet watched it.
Oh my gosh, guys.
I'm so clingy to the first Space Jam.
I saw the animation style of how they were doing the tunes in this Space Jam, and I was like, I can't watch this trailer right now.
Well, first of all, I have to say to both of you, come on and slam.
Yes. Oh,
and welcome to the jam.
Do they use that song?
Yes, but to my great disappointment, they do that movie thing where they like break it up and put like a modern beat behind it and like separate the lyrics between 30 30 minutes of film.
You know what I have to say about that, Vast?
What?
Is hey yo, what you gonna do?
I should've.
You were not prepared for this.
I wasn't. I should have been. Thank you for playing with me, Scorch. Thank you for kidding me.
It was oh my gosh, you teed it up so well. Thank you so much.
Ooh, I'm crying. But so here's the thing. I don't want to spoil it for you. Just know that there's a lot of Warner Brothers cameos in here. A lot of Warner Brothers
really?
characters,
so they're just like
properties.
dumping them in and mixing them in everywhere then.
They just pop in. I do also want to say that Space Jam 2 may help solve the riddle that has plagued mankind since King James became King James. And that is, who is the greatest of all time? Is it Michael Jordan or is it LeBron James? I think the answer is actually very nuanced and it has to do with generations and, blah, 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 and playing in their prime. And you can't just look at statistics. You have to look at the league itself and who are they playing with, blah, 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 blah. But a shorter way to figure this out is who is the greatest of all time? Who has the better Space Jam film and who is the better actor? Because on the court, they're doing their thing. That's what they're good at. That's what they're known for. But when you take them out of their arena and put them next to Bugs Bunny, who holds their own? So that's how I'm going to judge the greatest athlete of all time.
Vast,
that's not Serena Williams.
Here's another little criterion that you may want to investigate.
Okay.
Can LeBron James pull off a tiny Hitler mustache?
Do you
Probably not.
know that I actually brought this up with a friend literally yesterday because that's when the trailer dropped, and they asked me the same damn question. I'm not kidding. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
And also, if we're leaning more towards popular culture, I'm just gonna stake my claim because I'm a '90s kid.
Uh-huh.
Michael Jordan has a theme song,
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
and he has some of the best memes
He
of
does.
all time. He has the crying meme. He has "fuck them kids." Uh,
He takes things personally.
yes, so many good memes. So I'm just putting it out there. But Space Jam versus Space Jam 2, that's going to decide greatest basketball athlete of all time.
Listen,
I'm just gonna go out and say right now, Michael Jordan's on-screen cinema skills have, from even back in the day, a lot of room for improvement.
Mm-hmm. And now
So
he's
much
going to
so
have to
that if I
stack up
watch a
against.
scene from it now, I grimace.
really,
Well,
you
he
don't
was.
watch Space Jam with little kid-like stars in your eyes and go, "This is the best movie ever," because
I
it is.
I try, but reality sets in harshly.
I really hope that Space Jam 2 beats out Avatar for like highest
Oh man, that is
like
steep.
money.
Holy crap, that is steep. I don't think there are that many people on the nostalgia train to make that happen, but who knows?
Listen, everybody can be on the nostalgia train if you try hard enough. Every
Mm-hmm.
single person alive.
Hey, do we want to stick on movies really quick?
We can, sure.
For Dead Borderlands?
Yes, we have some
Oh, yeah.
some updates for the Borderlands film.
Borderlands!
Let me take a look at. See if I can pull up an article here. Good duck.
While that article's going up,
BRB.
I'll just go ahead and summarize that we knew who Roland was. Kevin Hart. They announced Kate Blanchett as the lead of the films.
Mm-hmm.
They announced Jack Black as being the voice of Claptrap. And they announced that Jamie Lee Curtis was going to be Tannis in the films, which I think is actually really stellar casting.
I think it's pretty good, yeah.
Then they've recently announced that Krieg and Tiny Tina have been cast, and that there's been principal photography being done right now as we speak in Hungary. So they're getting ready to ramp up. Well, there's at least that's one of the locations, and so they're ramping that up right now as we speak.
Variety, I'm not paying you shit.
So is it Florian Montano?
Yeah, that's how I would say it.
Will be Krieg in Borderlands, and I approve. I endorse this message.
I think the entire way that they cast Krieg is they just pulled up every single picture of a ripped guy and compared length of abs to Krieg, and then just selected this guy.
The stamina, the discerning judgment that person had is mind-blowing. But seriously, Florian also appeared in the Michael B. Jordan. I forget which one it was. He was either in Creed or Creed 2. Which, if I understand, those films were really, really well received, and Creed actually gained Sylvester Stallone like an Oscar, right?
Yeah, he appeared in Creed 2.
Okay. So he's got. I don't know how much acting he had to do in Creed. I do know that he comes from with a boxing or a boxing background,
Uh-huh.
or a MMA background, a fighting background. But he does have acting chops. So I'm really interested to see what they do with Krieg in this film. He's one of the characters I never played, but I just found so compelling.
Krieg is fun.
And he was really fun. And again, just devastated me that I never got a chance to see if his romance with Maya ever went anywhere. Did they even become friends? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they absolutely did. And then they killed Maya, which sucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what I want to know is if Florian can pull off the voice of the inner monologue of Krieg and also shout like a maniac like Krieg does.
With the like gritty voice changeover to distinguish the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That could be kind of difficult to
I
do.
think that would be really cool.
Yeah. I think it'll be difficult. I will say that I have always seen an actor playing more than one role in a film, or twins or unstable after image of themselves in a role as like a prestige actor type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or or where it's a movie like Face Off where Nick Cage and John Travolta had to play each other. And they did a really good job for like a 90s film, you know what I mean? So I guess where I'm going with this is that I wouldn't have thought they would. I would think that this would be a really hard role for anyone because of that type of dichotomy in a character.
Yeah.
And it go really wrong really fast on screen.
Yeah, that's true. We'll just have to see. I'm not expecting.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not expecting this movie to like blow the doors off the box office. But I think it's gonna be a fun game. Yeah. Or a fun movie.
Dude.
I think it's gonna
First
have
of all,
like middling reviews and a middling showing at the box office. It's gonna make up its like production costs, but I don't know how profitable it's gonna be.
So I'm gonna agree with you in saying that post-pandemic, I'm not sure it's going to be a box office smash. Pre-pandemic, I think it will be. I think it would be because of the star power. Because I still think that The Rock is going to make a cameo as Brick. Base
would be
just
fitting.
on this,
That would be fitting.
just on the strength that Kevin Hart is in the film.
Yeah, they're like attached to the hip at this point.
They're at this
Just
point.
about.
And because those two in a film together has not created a lot of money, I would say that it would be like one of those surprise box office hits, like Jumanji, like the Jumanji reboot. Like both of those films did really well and were surprisingly funny and fun.
Yeah.
I didn't see the
like-
second one, but the first one was funny.
Yeah, and like Jack Black's going to be in it again.
I think
Kevin
that's
Hart
why it
is
was
in
funny.
it.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart is in it, and what I'm really curious about is how did they land Kate Blanchett? Obviously, she auditioned or she was pulled into like the power broker process, but how did she attach? How did this gain her interest?
Maybe she
Does she play
is
Borderlands?
like quietly a gamer and has played
Closet
Borderlands.
gamer.
Yeah.
I hope she
I wouldn't
is.
doubt there's some of those in Hollywood.
Kate,
Not
come
everyone
be my
shares
friend.
the same normal passions.
Kate
Come be my friend.
Kate Blanchett dips her toes into nerdiness a lot. Like she's in Lord of the Rings. She played Hela in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So like nerd stuff and popular culture is not an unheard of thing for her to do. So
True.
I mean,
Also,
this would be a hell of a stretch.
It would, and this.
But nobody sees her yet in like a Henry Cavill sort of manner where he's like live streaming his own gaming type of stuff.
Well, listen, Henry Cavill was like plucked from like obscurity. I think his claim to fame before Superman was being in what do you call it? Son of a bitch.
No,
He was in.
He had TV roles.
Did he?
He had TV
He had a
roles.
few.
He was in.
He had-
He was in a Hellraiser movie. That's what I was gonna say.
Well, before that though, I watch a lot of BBC
Oops.
period, not some dramas, but mainly whodunits like Agatha Christie's, Midsummer Murders, a lot of their mysteries, BBC mystery series or Sky One or all that kind of stuff. And he made an appearance in one of those type series, like in a Inspector Lindley. I could go to his IMDb, but I'm too lazy. But he made an appearance in one of those when he was in his like late teens, early 20s. And then he was in The Tudors, which was wildly popular for us like a season or two. And that was a launch pad for, I cannot remember her name, but I believe she was on. No, she's really good. Like, she's a really amazing actress. I just can't remember her name right now. I see her face, but she played one of Henry's wives. I think she was, and eventually she played a version of Moriarty, or she played Moriarty on the CBS Sherlock, in a really cool twist.
Okay. That's cool.
And she's done other things. I just cannot think of her name. But yeah, he had roles. He had like, he did that British thing where, he did stage,
Yeah.
He got into TV, and then he hit film. And he had the musculature that made people stand up and take notice.
Few people have that musculature, though. Like, the dude is built like a brick shithouse, and there's no way that you can, like, get away from that.
I am respectfully agreeing with you.
Respectfully.
Respectfully.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it sounds like a conversation for off stream.
Yes, I anticipate this with bated breath.
What else do we want to talk about, guys? Do we have anything else? We could talk about like some of the D&D stuff that's coming out.
Let's hit it.
Okay, let me find something. Let me find something.
D&D, Game
Where is
Informer,
it
or
on
Polygon.
our Google Docs. We'll just pull up this one.
1 and 2. Yeah. First one.
Yeah. So there are a lot of irons in the fire when it comes to D&D nowadays. What with its resurgence in popularity, and the fact that I've gotten my friends to play it and walk down this path with me.
Unbeknownst.
Baldur's Gate is coming out. It's in early access now, and it's very, very good. Dark Alliance is making another appearance. Both of them are set in the same setting, Forgotten Realms. And this open world game is something relatively new on everyone's radar. This came out March 4th. April. It was about a month ago. And they're talking about the D&D movie also that has Hugh Grant as a villain in this article.
Kind of excited about that.
Yeah, this is a Game Informer article, by the way. Gotta cite the sources or whatever. And I am worried about them overextending the title with all of these projects that are in the works. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What else do we want to say about this? Baldur's Gate 3, Dark
It'll be
Alliance.
interesting.
Yeah.
Is there?
It looks.
I guess it's kind of really just an introductory of what it is. We don't have very many details beyond this, and
Yeah.
they haven't really expounded on much. So, I think it's one of those like hand wave to the audience type things, like, "Hey, we're working on this," and then they put their head back down to keep working on it, which they should. Don't hype it up too much.
Yeah.
Just tell people, yes, this thing is happening. FYI. I think it's good. Could help me polish up my skills in the actual game, but who knows?
I think we're just about done here. Let's hit up on the mesh real quick because I just want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Let me see if I can bring
It
up
is
something.
legitimately awesome technology.
Kaboom. All
Why
right.
don't you go ahead and introduce it?
Yeah, talk to us about. Let's
So
get
a lot
technical.
of what this technology involves is integrating the
Wait. Tell us
this
what it
this
is
is basic.
first.
Okay, so
Yes.
essentially this is Microsoft Mesh, to kind of put it simply, is a way to do augmented reality. It's like Zoom augmented reality. Think of it like that, where you can do collaborative efforts where no matter where you are, and of course with some of the right accessories, you can do shared visualizations, shared locale videos in 3D space. And really, this has its usefulness in the design realm of industry, whether it's architectural, mechanical, or basically object-oriented type of items that can be digitized and sent over the stream waves in order to be augmented with special 3D glasses to be something visual that you can touch and interact with based on the cues of whether or not it's one of those if you remember let's see here, like those special touchscreen pens that have a little clicker in them and a little Bluetooth ability, so that way the computer knows where the cursor is without it
Mm-hmm.
necessarily touching the screen. So you'll use stuff like that, but this kind of goes one step further and enables simple objects like a pen or your hand to be interfacing media, because the goggles you wear specifically identify your hands as a object in front of you that it overlays with the augmented reality so you can interact with stuff.
It's pretty cool.
It's basically the stuff that movies showed years ago that we now have in reality.
Yeah.
Specifically Tom Cruise's film, The
Edge of
Minority
Tomorrow.
Report.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Minority Report.
Yes.
But we've seen it in other science fiction too. But that's the one like that specifically reminds me of Microsoft Mesh. And I think even in that film, he wore something on his fingers to
Uh-huh.
help him interact with like the
Sure.
holographic
All the
screen.
screens and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And this one, well, it might be the case, but like Arcadis was saying, it looks like you're going to be able to interact with your hand or something as simple as like one of those
Yes. The first
pins.
generation of this used a special gauntlet, but even nowadays, you're still probably going to have gauntlet interfaces, because the gauntlets have something akin to a specialized mouse and keyboard built into the hand, so you can click and activate certain buttons on the gauntlet while you're interacting in order to spin objects and do commands that you otherwise don't need any other external accessories to use.
So two things. One, just want to go back and say that Nintendo had that Power Glove
Mhm.
back in the 80s. I mentioned that
They also
before.
had the Virtual Boy.
Uh-huh.
They also had the Virtual Boy. Again, way ahead of their time.
Mm-hmm.
Way ahead
Uh-huh.
of their time.
Uh-huh.
And then two, on Microsoft's actual webpage, their like introductory statement is Microsoft Mesh enables presence and shared experience from anywhere on any device through mixed reality applications. So when I read that, I thought to myself, mixed reality, is that the terminology they're going to be using because somebody has already trademarked augmented reality?
Possible.
Oh,
Trademarks
well,
is a weird business.
let's look it up.
That
Is the term?
I also want to add in an addendum that although this is being introduced as new technology to the masses, it's actually been used for quite a few years
mm-hmm.
at my workplace and other, I'll call it, higher level applications that is not accessible by the common person.
Mm-hmm. It's like
So
the internet.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
basically gotten to the point where it's advanced enough to mass produce more cost effectively, which is why you're starting to see more of these kinds of articles come out introducing it to the masses. And
Mm-hmm.
it is
Anyway,
legitimately awesome technology to see firsthand.
yeah, it's great. I have one flaw to pick out about it, though.
Hit it.
And it is that the headset is prohibitively large.
I mean,
It looks
it has
way
so much
better.
tech packed into it, though.
It looks way better than even the first gen VR headsets and stuff. It looks so streamlined compared to this. It's not going to be a big deal when you have to strap something onto your head for it to work. They're going to have to miniaturize this technology enough so that it's like glasses or like a contact or
that is going to be a
screen.
really long time.
It's going to be
That's
a
gonna
lot
take a
of
while.
time, but like
A lot of the technology crammed in those headsets with multiple depth perception cameras, IR sensors, and some of the advanced ones actually have thermal sensors built into them.
yeah.
So that way they can have depth perception overlaid with thermal imaging, so you can actually basically expand the area of holographic projection that you interact with instead of a very laboratory set, clean, evenly cooled room type stuff. So there's a lot of technology crammed
No, it
in that
absolutely
strange
is.
looking headset.
And I'm not denying that. I'm saying that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
too big for people to give a shit right now.
Yeah.
Can they
I think too big
put
for
my
the normal person
prescription
to
on
care.
it?
Since you can just get rid of your glasses and just use this.
So it's a what?
Just wear
That's one of the
a
things.
space
Like
helmet all day.
I'm still waiting for VR to get to a certain point, but that's one of the things. I do have contacts, but with this old lady here has suddenly, when I hit 30, I started to get allergies and then, or started to succumb to allergy, and it's just becoming worse and worse every year. Thank God I'm not as bad as my mom, or else, it would be terrible. But it was my whole reason why I'm still to this day resistant to 3D in film, because when you go in, you have to wear glasses over your glasses, and that's
Yeah,
just not
true.
fun or comfortable.
True.
Nope. I'm going to say that since this augmented reality has more to do with a digital projection, it's probably more akin to interacting with your normal LCD media right now. So there probably isn't much correction in it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing it right now. So the future,
Yeah.
when my eyes finally give out, I'll have something to look forward
Well, at that
to.
point, you'll just get a bionic implant to digitize your eyeball. They won't even bother with this nonsense. It'll
That's
just go
so
straight
sexy.
into your eye.
That's so sexy to me. I don't know why, but bionic eyes. I'm ready for it.
Future. Da, 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 da. Your corneas need an update.
God, I don't want a firmware update my corneas. That sounds awful. That sounds like, shit, I'm blind. Oh, hold on. Let me reformat that. Like, no thanks. Hard pass.
Well, speaking of something that's a feast for the eyes, we have one final topic. And I want to say kudos to the Nerdami team for getting us to like a podcast where we're like all upbeat at the end of it.
Yeah. What is our last topic? What are we talking about?
Tall vampire lady cosplay.
Oh, the tall vampire lady
That isn't-
cosplay.
That's definitely in the categories of
Dimitrescu.
excellent cosplay.
Wasn't
I
it
took a
awesome?
peek at it before we started, and she's not standing up in order to or even has props to sort of show off the height that they do in the game.
There are pictures
But
of
as
her
far as
standing
just
up as the cosplay.
there
It's
is?
just not
Oh, okay,
this
maybe
one.
I just didn't see the other ones. As far as this one, the fact that they miniaturized the little set behind her to make her appear larger, I think that's the only instance that looks like where she's bigger. But no, it's good.
She's an Olympian that is 6'9", so
Yeah.
She's pretty tall.
That's tall. That's a good 9 inches above me,
And she's wearing heels in this, so that's
I-
probably another good 5 to,
yeah.
depending on how high her stilettos are.
It's impressive, all right. She could make money off of that height if you went into certain industries, but we'll leave.
She's making money off of this height right here.
That's true. Is she making money for this cosplay? Was she sanctioned?
I don't know.
I don't know how. Let's take a step back because this is going to get into a really sad topic. But a lot of, and I'm not referencing her because I don't know, but some cosplayers have like Patreon or Coffee where you can leave people tips.
Yeah.
Or you can subscribe to them and suggest, if you're a Patreon, like, can you do Wonder Woman this month? And they'll put together a Wonder Woman costume,
Yeah.
So I say sad topic because there's a whole bunch of issues going on right now with derivative works and payment for that kind of thing. Or not just that kind of thing, but like with fan art, there's just a whole bunch of other issues that are coming up. But I don't know if it's the case with her. I'm just saying that if she does have something like that available, she's probably making bank right now.
Yeah. The entire internet is thirsty for this large woman, so she came in at the right time.
Oh, she knew what she was doing. And the cosplay is so simple, and she's absolutely beautiful. It just looks amazing.
Yeah. Like that looks like a Renaissance painting. What I have on that screen right now.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Second thing, Danny mentioned earlier, this is the last like impromptu topic for me. Danny mentioned earlier that there's a lot of films coming from game industry and more rapidly than before. Part of that is, of course, because there's so many streaming platforms. There's a bigger rush for content on the platforms, and then for film to stay relevant and like compete against streaming platforms
or the gaming industry in general, because it is one of the largest grossing and profitable industries.
I think it is the largest.
So if not anything else, they want a piece of that now really big pie.
Yeah. So how long do you think it's going to take Resident Evil Village to get on screen? With this knowing that big tall vampire lady.
What kind of screen? Specifically a movie screen?
Specifically a movie
miniseries screen. Okay.
I think a movie screen because there have been Resident Evil films before, so there's precedence there.
That's true.
True.
You're definitely gonna have to cast somebody other than Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
For the big lady.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm almost kind of wondering if the movie will hinge on how well the game necessarily does. Because if the game does really well, then that means there's a general audience of interest just for the game itself, and then they might be able to leverage that to make an audience of interest for a movie like it.
Let me tell you this, my friend. It's not a direct comparison, but it's adjacent. There's a Ready Player One movie and a Ready Player Two movie in the works, and that book is shit. So, there's precedent.
Then the odds are probably high.
and let's go back because there has been a Resident Evil film. There's a Resident Evil film franchise, and while those initial games were very popular, they didn't penetrate the public consciousness as much as some other titles, like a Sonic, like a Mario Brothers, like a Link. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still got a film franchise out of it.
That's true.
And if we look at, I guess what I'm saying, I don't think sales are going to. I think sales are going to matter, of course, because everyone's looking at numbers, everyone's looking at data, but I think if they were just gauging on social media interest right now, that there's probably a scriptwriter right now hammering away at a keyboard. You know what I mean? Like they know it's coming. It's like, I'm going to finish the script and get it over to such and such because I know this is going to be made into a movie.
Why don't you pick out like a fan writer that's got tons of stuff already? Because they've been attacking away since they saw the big lady the first time.
Yeah, but then it would have to go to a different screen.
Not necessarily.
Which leads me to a conversation about Microsoft Mesh that we're going to take offline. But
I know where it's going.
But that's it for me, guys.
All right. I think we're done. Do you have anything else, Arcadius?
No, I'm good. Let's put a pin in it.
All right. This has been our Dernami Gaming Podcast. I never introduced any of us or even said what we were doing.
Tacking it onto the last video, they get chopped.
Yeah. Vast Empires is our list master. She compiled all of the links today for a smooth and wonderful podcast.
Round of applause,
today.
round of applause, round
Yes.
of applause.
Little golf clap. Arcadia Zero was here for lovely commentary, and I was at the wheel for better or for worse. I am known on the internet as Scorch, I suppose. But if you like what you heard, we live stream everything on YouTube. So if you want to talk to us while we make a podcast, you can. And we are now on a lot of platforms now, you guys. We're on
several.
Oh man, at like almost everything except Apple Podcasts, which is a huge chunk of pie, but I don't want to deal with Apple. So
same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think we're gonna end it here. Thanks for paying attention to us for this whole time. We'll talk to you when we have enough material. Bye.